Whoa.
Hey, those are nice looking booms. The whole reason it's being filmed is mostly just for the actors to like understand situational awareness.
This is an age-old trick.
I know, right? This is like one of the oldest tricks in the book.
Dude, imagine looking like that.
That's gonna be you in 10 years, Sam.
Sick.
Good morning and Merry Christmas! Welcome back to another episode of Visual Effects Artists React. That's right, we've got a whole Christmas special for you today.
I'm very, very excited to be back with the boys on the couch talking about Christmas movies.
Clint, what does Christmas mean to you?
How about this? How about this?
Christmas.
I'll give you my answer at the end of the episode.
When
Stay tuned.
When I think of Christmas, I think of a dry, brittle crunch, that satisfying crunch. It's the crunch that only Christmas can give you.
Right on the nose.
It's the time we get together with family.
It's like Thanksgiving, but way better.
Thanksgiving with more lights.
Dude, it's like 4th of July, but cold.
It's like the 4th of July for Thanksgiving.
It's like Easter, but with a big man.
It's like Valentine's Day for everyone.
Yeah, actually. You don't need a date to have fun on Christmas.
Yeah, just date your presents.
Yeah, Santa. All right, let's take a look at this shot from the Santa Claus.
Shaving, no big deal. Wait, ready for it? That was pretty good. It's pretty clear, at the very least, that there's a morph happening. I imagine this is mostly coming together through compositing. Notice how parts of his face start morphing and the other parts of his face follow suit.
Yeah.
So like you have the hair kind of growing in first, and then like his actual eyes and skin and lips eventually transform in at the last minute. But the hair goes first to kind of like make that transition more seamless. To pull off a shot like this, you have to keep incredibly careful track of the orientation of his head to be one specific direction and then match that once they got his makeup with the beard on.
Dude, imagine looking like that.
That's gonna be you in 10 years, Sam.
Sick.
So it's like, all right, that's a simple morph, right? But
Or is it?
First, let's enhance.
Let's enhance.
enhance.
He's on the green screen. Is it 2 people?
Oh, I see what you're seeing. There is some matting going on.
Morphing's easier on a green screen, right? When you don't have a background to
No,
deal
no, no,
with?
the foreground element.
Whoa! Wait, you're right. Here's my pitch.
What do you think, Sam?
If you're gonna do a morph, I would imagine you're gonna wanna isolate your subject. So that way your morph isn't like morphing the background. You know, you're not rotoscoping your background. You want a clean element. However, you're filming on the mirror. We see that line that is in front of his arm there. I think they're just setting up a blue screen in the background. It's actually his real reflection. It's just the entire mirror is blue, except for the line.
Oh, so the background's comped in, like tracked in, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's a big blue screen to isolate him from the background. Yeah, you can see the flickering in his hair on the bottom right.
How did they get the background tracked in then? Like, I know how you could, I'm just saying, how would they have? Would it have been like an actual camera tracking thing, or was there a motion control system?
I would never use a motion control. I would just 2D scale that BS.
1997?
Well, they're morphing. They can clearly take an image and slide it around a little bit.
Or they probably just got a clean plate there, but for the sake of this morph shot, they put a blue screen there so that they could replace him and put him in there specifically where they needed. Because notice how the camera actually stops moving right before the morph happens. They land and they lock.
Anyways, this movie's cool, kind of.
Okay, I mean, cool.
Yeah, I don't know.
Good story, right?
Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. When I wake up, I'm getting a CAT scan.
I got a little clip. I really wanted to do Polar Express. You guys already did it. And so I decided, hey, why not continue the fun with the follow-up to Polar Express? The only way Robert Zemeckis could ever get another motion capture movie made is by making Christmas Carol.
Yes, quite dead. There's a doornail.
The distance between the tip of that dude's nose and his chin is like that.
You took an orange and like shoved it at his face, it would like hook. You get stuck there.
Dude, why do his fingers look like Voldemort's wand? You know what's true though?
Stop! Back away, Predok.
Everything looks so like matte.
Yeah, the skin's not quite as like specularly reflective.
I personally think this is better than the Polar Express. I think they made some huge improvements. Granted, it's 5 years later.
The lighting is way better. There's more like global illumination, better shadows, better shading, and the skin textures are better too. You're actually getting the wrinkles on their faces. And Polar Express, they were just smooth.
The Polar Express was really stylized because they're trying to find the best way to mimic the illustration style from the book. Whereas this, they're not beholden to that style. They're just like, hey, we're just trying to make a nice looking CG image.
Gotcha, sure, yeah. It's cool that they've actually got like Jim Carrey's sort of, I don't even know what you call it. It doesn't look like Jim Carrey.
Wait.
But it feels like Jim Carrey.
That's Jim Carrey?
Yeah.
Whoa.
All the performances are being driven with human actors. They basically filmed this movie with real cameras and people in motion capture suits so that there's always a camera on set. So there is a version of this movie where there's no graphics and it's just the actors on the mocap stage. And this is shot for shot, line for line, perfectly lined up with the movie, with the music and everything.
Stop! Back away, Predok.
See, and here's the scene we just watched.
It's totally him.
Put this on at the holidays, you know?
You know, this is also really great from a filmmaking perspective because Zemeckis can now actually edit the film and actually get like a cut of it put together from the real performances while the VFX are happening in the background. He doesn't have to wait for all that stuff to be rendered out and processed.
Yeah, it's like, I don't even know how much they actually use that footage though, to be honest. The whole reason it's being filmed is mostly just for the actors to like understand situational awareness. For the time, like a lot of these actors, it's like, this is mocap, it's still new. It goes from like completely pretend, total imagination to, okay, there's a camera there. I know where to look, or I know how to hold my body. It's not just this void.
Also, the fact that they're using real cameras grounds everything in reality. You're not having these giant sweeping cameras that are impossible to do. It's pretty accurate and realistic.
Mocap technology, has it like really progressed much more than this? Honestly, no. If you look at like the face cap systems and the body tracking systems, they're all kind of running on similar technology. It's really just like how it's being processed and handled later that's changed.
Well, like even like you see like the little dots on his suit, that was the classic way to do mocap for the longest time because you'd have all these cameras that could all see those individual dots and you're able to extract mocap information from it. These days we have little suits that have like accelerometers and gyros in them, and so we're able to figure it out without having to have the dots and cameras.
Question though, if you had the choice, would you go for the dots because it's the more tried and true method of
I would go
motion
for the
capture?
dots because everything is explicit in world space. The suits with the sensors inside of them, it's all kind of relative. It's having to make a lot of assumptions based on like your feet are glued to the ground and that's how it's able to know where you're going.
I mean, the inertial sensors are really great for when we go out to a shooting range.
Well, they're just so
film.
convenient.
And it's just like you can slap the motion capture suit on without being in a soundstage and still get great data.
It's just a different tool.
It's a different tool.
Okay, people, tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., Santa's coming to town.
Oh my God!
Will Ferrell is hit or miss for me, but he just 100% in this movie.
Will Ferrell is funniest when he does go full 100%. Like,
I mean, he's acting like an elf so hard.
so we're gonna do something a little different. First, I want us to take a look at the behind the scenes and see how they filmed the scene that we're about to watch.
Do one with your arm straight down, and we'll put your arm in digitally, and just do everything else with your body, but don't actually throw.
Okay.
See how he's doing it though? He's trying not to laugh. I love this because this is exactly the sort of style of doing a shot that we would do. You know, we've actually done something like this back in the day. Remember the Terraria video we did?
Terraria, yeah.
Terraria?
Yeah, same thing.
Same sort of thing where it's like, all right, now don't do it and we'll just add in your arm later. So let's actually take a look at what the final scene looks like with the snowball fight.
Let's go.
Now we're getting a little bit of that warbly arm. They actually shot this in Central Park in New York City, but then they reshot the scene where he was throwing the balls. So right there, they shot that in Vancouver.
Wow, that's a long ways away.
That's a really big
he's
plane
got a
ride.
really good arm. I guess what I'm getting at is they did it two different ways. They did one plate where he's actually throwing the snowballs, and then they did another plate where he pretends to throw them without actually moving his arm so they can comp in a digital arm. But they have the footage of him actually throwing that they can use. But then I actually was watching, I was like, that just looks like sped up footage.
It does.
All the motion blur is having to be added after the fact because motion blur is very hard to make optically correct. You can actually see his arm like multiple times as he's going through. And this is actually an animation technique to imply fast motion. You get like those sort of like, not speed lines, but
And they're having to manually add previous frames and tweak the opacity of those frames
Yeah, they're
to
like-
get that look.
Hey, can we look at a cool forced perspective shot at least?
oh yes, so Elf is probably most famously known for their forced perspective
Sorry,
shots.
I could have segued that a little bit better.
Like you just skip.
Like, come on,
Skip.
wait, skip.
The whole idea of forced perspective isn't really a visual effects thing, it's more of a filmmaking magic trick thing. And they did that a lot in this movie.
This is an age-old trick.
Darby O'Gilly figured this out 70 years ago.
I know, right? This is like one of the oldest tricks in the book.
Best way to spread Christmas cheer is singing loud for all to hear.
The idea of forced perspective is to make someone look big, you gotta be closer to the camera. And then they line everything up so that from the camera's perspective, it doesn't look like he's any closer to the camera, he just looks bigger.
And then also, obviously, you want to film this with very, very deep focus. So you want to stop down so that way the children aren't out of focus.
Otherwise, it'd feel like a miniature.
Exactly.
I still don't understand how they're blending that seam.
I see it.
You see the seam?
I totally see it. That little bag of lunch is actually hiding the vertical seam, and then the horizontal seam is the wood plank going directly behind his chair there.
And this works because it's a nodal pan.
Yes, exactly. So the camera is not moving through space, it's just kind of rotating around a hinge.
The real challenge is basically just making sure your light levels are really consistent on the floor.
There are more visual effects in this movie, but I feel like those are the ones that were most interesting to me.
Yeah, those are the fun ones.
Man, I'm very sad because I'm not gonna get anything for Christmas this year. So I'm requesting that you subscribe. That's the only thing I want for Christmas.
I'll
Your
subscribe right
subscription.
now. I'll subscribe right now.
You're not subscribed, Clint?
I'll unsubscribe and resubscribe.
Oh, that's not better, but okay. Oh my God, okay, is it time for Popcorn Guy?
What is Popcorn Guy,
So I
man?
asked for suggestions and Tom Ska from London actually posted this a while ago, but I hadn't seen this. Just watch if anything stands out to you.
Let's get out of here.
Dad, you smell like barf!
Anything stand out?
Wait.
Oh wait, I remember this. You're right. There is a hilarious visual effects fun fact.
Do you see it? Do you
in this
see it,
movie.
Clint?
Is he patching holes?
The guy holding the popcorn isn't in the movie, but I forgot why they put him there.
It was legit some green screen dude thrown into this 90s movie to cover up continuity.
Hold on. Something is back there that they don't want us to see.
There's something they're hiding from us.
They are hiding something, you're right.
Who is that?
So it's his kid. Him. That kid right there. And you can kind of see him. That
His
guy
hat. You see his hat and the pants.
Captain Disillusion actually did a video breaking this down, and he found the original footage without
No
the
way.
green screen guy in it.
How do you get the original footage? How deep do you have to go?
I don't know, man. Captain D goes deep. Captain Deep. Literally, the shot before, the kid gets escorted out of the shot, and then in the next scene, he's right there in the shot again. So they went out of their way to rotoscope out Anakin Skywalker here and put the green screen popcorn guy here in the shot to cover him up.
Genius.
You can tell because there's a bit of a black matting line around his hat and shoulders.
And he almost seems a little washed out, just a
A
little
little bit, like
His
the contrast
pants.
is not quite there. It's not quite matched.
I think the fact that there's just no sunlight, because people are getting hit with sun.
Yes,
And he's
yes.
got nothing.
They should have shot that outside. Instead, it looks like they shot it in a studio where you can't replicate that sunlight.
This is the funniest type of shot you can ever do. Like a random green screen person in your movie. It's the classiest thing.
That was awesome.
Yeah, thanks,
That was a
Tom
good
Scott. So, Clint, do you want to set up the most Christmassy of all Christmas movies?
Yeah, first let me put my hat back on.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that means we're getting serious. We're getting serious.
Yeah, let's get those neurons closer together.
Let me cinch,
so you
let me-
can
let
think
me
just a little faster.
tighten down this information here. Not my favorite Christmas movie of all time, but no doubt a Christmas movie. We're talking about Die Hard. Get off.
Die Hard! Yeah, wait, so why is this a Christmas movie, Clint?
Look at the freaking Christmas tree in the background,
Oh,
man!
dude, done. Yeah, that's all the explanation you need.
All right, so he straps some C4 to this chair, he chucks it,
Is this Max Payne?
Dude,
chucks
it's
it
an
down
endless
there.
elevator.
Hey, those are nice looking booms.
Blowout. Here it comes.
That's cool.
Let's talk about this elevator first and
Yeah,
foremost.
what's up with this
What's
elevator?
going on with the elevator? Let's take a look. Let's enhance. How do you think they're doing that shot right there?
I think it's a miniature. I'd say that's like in real life, that's probably about like 15 feet long.
How about the perspective, though? How does it look like it goes on for so long?
Oh, this is the same thing from the Dune thing where they're actually warping the model to actually get more narrow at the end of it to kind of create the illusion of a vanishing point, and so the lines actually kind of converged.
Exactly. So, Sam, they built a 23-foot miniature, and it starts out as a normal, like, room-sized, elevator shaft, and then it tapers down to a few feet at the bottom after those 23 feet. Since it's a miniature, when they set off that explosion, it's gonna look way too fast. they're not going to get the right speed of the explosion.
So they have to shoot it in slow-mo.
They have to shoot it in slow-mo. But as it gets closer to camera, it appears too fast. So they actually have to ramp the whole thing. So they're filming at 100 frames per second. And as soon as the explosion goes off, the DP literally turned off the camera. So it wound down like tuk, 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 tuk. And they just winged it. And
wow.
It actually happened to work out perfectly.
That's baller. That's awesome.
That was real-time, first take, first try timer mapping.
Exactly,
Analog.
exactly. Things would get really dim up towards the top because the fire would kind of go out towards the top. So what they had to do is they did 3 takes of this explosion and they comped them together to get the brightness that they needed towards the top of that explosion.
That's the only way you can do it when it's forced perspective. The set doesn't conform to, normal geometry. And so your film footage has to adapt to that. That's crazy.
I thought I knew some cool VFX about this movie, but that was a new one. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
There are more Christmas movies that we haven't covered, so leave a comment down below which other Christmas movies we should take a look at next year. Did you write to Santa hoping for longer React episodes? Well, guess what? Santa listened and partnered with us to make it possible on quarterdigital.com. It's a Christmas dream come true. All you gotta do is open up your stocking, grab that little 2-week trial out of it, and sign up at quarterdigital.com, and you can get everything that we put out, including a 15% off all of our merchandise, access to all of our exclusive shows like Crew Cuts, Son of a Dungeon, Functional Filmmaking. It's great, and the future is looking bright. Every single day is Black Friday in this household because 15% off is way blacker than Thursday. Well, that was a lot of fun. Those were very joyous movies.
Joyous?
Yes, joyous occasion.
It's the end of the year. It's been a great year. 2021. It's been super, super cool. I hope you've enjoyed some of these videos we've been putting out for you.
The fact that we're able to do all of these shows and you continue to enjoy them is very special. It means a lot to me, and I'm sure it means a lot to everyone else here.
Until next year, have a great holiday season. Happy New Year, and we'll see you guys soon.